It's only going to be a possible battle that's going to be conjured up against Israel, Gog and Magog, that is only because they have prospered to annihilate, exsanguinate the blood out of the body of the allies of Israel. The strongest one of which is the big Satan, according to them, who is who? America, the US. So they want to get to Israel, they're struggling. They're going to get to Israel through the big Satan. And already you are seeing the big Satan operating in universities, places of influence, of academic influence, that also chart the course of a nation through the youth of the nation. Universities in America are already standing with Islam. Their lecturers are content with that rubbish coming from a worldly wisdom that does not save, which is foolishness in the sight of God. It is written in God's word, where because they think that they're academics, or indeed they are academics, they're book smart, they imagine that their influence with their academic knowledge is what it is that is needed in order to convert the world to a particular mindset concerning what's happening in the Middle East. It's a dangerous thing what's happening in American universities. You need to understand it's an academic source, and these sources, these academic sources, often tend to influence the world precisely because they're academic. So if at all they can change the educational narrative of educational institutions that are Ivy League in nature, for crying out loud, in the world's superpower, who is to tell what they're going to do in South Africa? Who is to tell what they're going to do next door, Botswana? Who is to tell what they're going to do in smaller countries with less might, less military arsenal, less whatnot? If they can get to America so easily, understand the rest of us are child's play. The rest of us are child's play. Yeah. So, I mean, really and truly, America will ultimately want to fight for its land when it's busy getting cooed by Islam, when bombs are landing all over their country from Islamic terrorism. And on that day, that's when, just like in Israel, you know how in Israel, every child, every, I guess now new adult that has just turned 18 has to go for training in the military. They have to be drafted into the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. There is no one that escapes it. In South Africa, there are kids like that get to 18 and never know what it's like to be part of the military. But when you live in a region that is that volatile in terms of war, every child has got to be conscripted to the army unless they've got a physical issue or whatever it is that might exempt them from that. But everybody goes into the IDF. Everyone, girl, boy, whether they're male or female, they all get drafted in. They get called in. They're reserves, do you understand? All of them become reserves. So that's why, what is this? In Israel, like doctors are reserves. Like you find people that are working regular jobs, teachers and whatnot, and they can easily just be called to go to war because their country is always facing that many threats. Now, in a volatile season of war in any country, that will always happen, where young men are no longer the property of their moms and dads, but of the state. Where young women are no longer the property of their moms and dads, but the state. Because if at all it calls for it and people gotta go to war, you guys are gonna have to basically, serve your country. Your keep. As citizens, this is how you give back to your land. So now, is that happening in America? No. There are Americans that are getting to the age of 18 and just going to school or taking a gap year or doing whatever they want to do because their country has not been subjugated to the tyranny of perpetual war. Do you understand? So much so do they have luxury concerning their soldiers in America that during the pandemic season, the soldiers that did not want to take the jab, they were let go. They let them go. They had that luxury where they could let go of fighting age men because they did not want to take a vaccine. That's what they did. And now these same soldiers, from what I found out the other day, they're bringing them back. They're not bringing them back. They're asking them if they want to come back because the US is now facing a threat. It's like this thing is already, this beast is waking up. They are calling their reserves, not reserves, they're not reserves. They were essentially low-key fired from their jobs because of the fact that they did not want to take the jab. They didn't want to take the jab. And they are asking them to come back on some, you don't even have to take it. Just please join us. Why? Because now, what is this? In the Middle East, where it is that the US is intervening on behalf of Israel, they're getting shot at and they're having to fight for themselves against Iran against Lebanon, against Syria, like basically all of these things that are happening, even with this Yemenis takeover of some ship at sea type thing. Yeah, now they're calling those reserves back to them. Not only that, Vladimir Putin also got quite upset with the amount of support that who is this guy? That Biden, that America basically is giving to the Ukraine. So now America is being looked at negatively with creased foreheads by Putin, by Russia, and also now by a whole bunch of countries in the Middle East because of America's stand with Israel. So it's got now some enemies, one enemy of which is a nuclear powerhouse, that is Russia, and the second enemy of which is trying to become a nuclear powerhouse, and it is unknown as to whether or not they have reached, nuclear capabilities. It's speculated that it might be there, but it is also speculated that they haven't quite arrived there. Iran in the Middle East. Israel is a nuclear state, all right? It has quite the arsenal of nuclear weapons, and that's why they don't easily, all of these nations surrounding Israel, just go in and do a strange thing. But Iran is trying to get there, and like I said, it is speculated that it might already be there or not, and we don't really know what to believe at this particular point. So now, given that particular issue, America in and of itself is also a nuclear state. So the US has nuclear weapons, Israel has nuclear weapons, Russia has nuclear weapons, but Russia and its allies there in the Middle East those allies don't have nuclear weapons type establishment thing, and they are, however, getting really close, and they're winning for themselves nuclear weapon having enemies like Russia, like China, like North Korea, etc. They're winning themselves enemies in that regard, and so now America's trying to call, given that they've made enemies with people that are increasingly becoming threatening to them, their existence in Jafela as a country is being threatened. Now they're calling those people that they fired for not wanting to take the jab back. So already the signs are in the sky. Already the evidence is being produced for anybody at all who wants to make political speculation, and therefore a decision to get out or get right with God, whatever you want to do, to successfully gauge that America is headed for quite the war. Quite the war. It is headed for I can't even, like, it's a yes, the war that is going to break out in the US is in defense, I believe, of Islamic terrorism. They're going to have to defend themselves. It won't even be a civil war. That's already kind of brewing. It's going to be a cold war that's gone hot, if you know what I mean. Whatever powder keg has been prepared all up in that joint is going to blow up, and now all of a sudden, all of these people waving their rainbow flags, and all of these people afflicting, employees at a restaurant as they're grilling burgers. They're going to realize that, oh snap, I am a God have mercy. I am a fighting age male in a dress, and my country is being bombed from here to Timbuktu by Islamic nations as they are allied with Russia and China. And North Korea. Do you not see how where this thing is going? Don't you guys, can't you speculate it? And not only is the speculation, it likely even is prophetic, because in order for Gog and Magog to happen, Israel cannot have America. It cannot have America on its side. Neither can it have even its allies in Europe. They have to be weakened somehow. And so, really and truly, when you've got some gay guy with pixie tails and a dress dissing a Mexican dude on TikTok, trending him for not getting his pronouns right, and now in the country there's bombs landing, not only is Joe Biden or whatever president might replace him, not only is he going to need those soldiers he fired because they wouldn't take the jab, he's also going to need the guy in the pixie tails that is also, wearing a dress. Joe Biden is going to need the guy that guys. Joe Biden is going to need Joe Biden is going to need Leah Thomas in the capacity of a man. Joe Biden is going to need the Olympic swimmer that is mediocre in the male category, yet a superstar in the female category, to go to war on behalf of America. Joe Biden is going to need the dude at the restaurant yelling at the waitresses for calling him sir because he's wearing a dress. Joe Biden is going to need the dude yelling at the grilling Mexican who is making him burgers and is not trying to lose his job because he's trying to feed his family. He's going to need that American man to wear basically army gear. There are no dresses in the military. You can put on lipstick, do whatever you want to do, but fight for the country. Because even this man that you're giving grief right now cannot fight for my land because he's not an American, he's a Mexican. He's an immigrant that is living in America. So I can't even ask this guy that you're persecuting right now to fight for my country. I need you with the pixie tails and the dress at a restaurant giving this guy burning meat because he can't concentrate on it. Grief. Now that Russia, China, North Korea has allied with Iran, Syria, etc. against America, what under heaven would cause that level of basically attack on America? Stuff that is already currently. So I mean, really, they weaken themselves with leftist politics and make sure that they're unguarded and entirely not ready when a religious war is waged on them, and when a war of necessity in order for them to win converts for Islam is waged on them. That's what's going on. Islam is this close to getting what they want. Why? Because they prospered to get to Gen Zs. They got to Gen Zs and they watered down the quality of the Gen Zs in countries that are their enemies. They watered down the quality of Gen Zs in countries that are their enemies. The quality of Gen Zs in Europe leaves a lot to be desired. The quality of Gen Zs in America leaves a lot to be desired. The quality of Gen Zs in my South Africa right now also leave a lot to be desired. Bunch of spoiled brats that are disrespectful, don't know God, are not trying to look at him, think he is not worthy of being followed, think God is not worthy of being pursued, because they have made observations. Do you understand? They have made observations that there is no respectability or honor that is awarded Christians that are trying to stand for Jesus. When a society marginalizes and second-class citizens up its Christians, as a Christian nation, like what South Africa has done to me, you cause those who initially looked at me like I was a role model, young girls who looked up to me, you cause them to not want to do what I'm doing. Who in the world wants to be me? Who, guys? Just the other day I was telling you guys, lamenting about how it is that a bunch of women were talking about me as one who's always complaining because they don't see value in my struggle, in my continuance in the stead. Because like I'm so underestimated. Maggots are crawling around me, and as a result of these maggots crawling around me, they think I'm rotten, even though I'm trying to fight these maggots too. No one imagines me a worthwhile example to follow. And so if at all people like me are marginalized in my society, if they are made second-class citizens, if they have been downgraded to second-grade citizens, if people like me have been awarded that kind of a reputation, who in the world is going to influence Gen Zs to not listen to this rubbish that is being proliferated? Because I'm trying to. I tried to. It was my whole modus operandi. It was my mission. Do you understand? From the very get-go. Unbelievable, sure not a food child. I wanted the kids. But it was millennials and Gen X's and Xennials that made sure that I can't get to the kids. It was my peers that made sure that kids would disrespect me when I opened my mouth. It was my peers that made sure that kids bakasemponinga necks. It was my peers that made sure that when kids look at me, they would see nothing that is worthy of honorability, of being followed, of being emulated, of being role modeled. Kids don't see anything worthy of being role modeled when they look at me. And so I can't influence them. But I mean, if I'm not influencing them, somebody is. Who is? Somebody please tell me who's influencing these kids. Goodness gracious, it's you. It's everybody else that hates God. It's the witches in the country, ancestral worship, making kids turn to darkness in order to get what they want in life, making them into instant gratification, unprepared to wait for what they want. It's everybody else that is helping kids feel as if though without Christ they will be okay, like giving them a sense of security where there is none. They're hell-bound, and they are being kept on the broad road that leads to destruction that many enter into, because it appears as if though there is safety in numbers. These kids are being influenced by all of my peers. Who are my peers? It is the best friend that decimated my marriage prospects. It's the best friend that decimated my career prospects. It's the sister that did the same thing. It's the cousin that has been trying to kill me for years. It is the uncle. It is the mother. It is the auntie that has proliferated a rubbish of this nature in the family. It is the former friends that I used to break bread with that now today are concerted with each other, colluding against an innocent woman. It is their concerted agreement that I ought to be ignored, that's making their children and their younger sisters comprehensively disregard what I have to say. It is literally my afflictors that are influencing the audience that I wanted to reach, so as to achieve the prosperity of Islam in the West. Sober children, seeing as their parents are dull of understanding. When I came to Christ, I asked them to give me, the kids. What is this? The kids that have been taken over by Islam have not been sobered. They've been made crazy. They've been made like wild oxen. They've been made like wild beasts that are untamable. That's what's good. But that's only because Islam got to them first. But what Islam did was the perfect strategy, because it prospered to proliferate their ideology, their agenda. I would have prospered to evangelize the youth, and so therefore created less crazy girls and boys out of them than what my generation is. My sister and her friends would not be bashing heads into each other already now with witchcraft. They would not be slapping one another with sorcery if I had gotten to them. If people like me had gotten to them. So if you keep on burying Christians and kids who tend to want to emulate, fashion their lives after role models that are older than them, when you have taken out good role models out of society and replaced them with twerking, like dancing, rando, jiggling all over the show, give me water, make me lose my step, like proper. That's all that they're doing. Doing little just trending videos using Tyler's song, Yeah Water. That's what Tyler Watenyo as well, of which is a Gen Z from South Africa that was influenced to follow that as a career path, because there is no better example. There is nobody telling her, use your glorious singing voice for the glory of the kingdom of heaven. Nobody is telling Tyler anything. So for her, I'm going to be Beyonce. For her, I am going to be a superstar that is going to jiggle my booty and trend like no man's business on social media, where all different kinds of age groups are going to be doing exactly what it is that I'm doing. The song, yeah, Tyler. Or is it Taylor? What's her name? I forgot. That's what's good. That's what's trending. That's what's happening with South African Gen Zs. They feel like it is a worthwhile pursuit to go to Hollywood instead of stay sober in South Africa, because there is no good thing that can come from Hollywood. There is no good thing. So basically her whole future has been destroyed by simply making that trip to America, unless the Lord changes her mind and brings her back home. And Lidang in South Africa, I keep saying, so people need to leave South Africa, so maybe she's rightly placed where she is at. I don't know. But she's definitely not rightly placed in terms of industry, in terms of career, in terms of job. They've gone and taken a viable young woman that likely grew up in a Christian household and made her jiggle her booty on the internet, causing the whole world to trend her particular dance. That's what's good. That is exactly what is happening in this 2023 era of ours. So if at all these kids don't have any other influence other than whatever it is that is not me, people that are not like me, we then are dealing with an epidemic of chaos among the Gen Zs that is going to result in so much lawlessness that there would, in order for it to be corrected, be need of a civil war. There would be need for a war in order to correct it. And the war that I believe is going to break out, well, in South Africa it's going to be a civil war definitely, but in the US it's going to be a coup, like a takeover by Islam, because they've already prospered to infiltrate that particular space. Banale their agenda, and their agenda is going to succeed. At this rate, you must understand it is going to succeed. It is utterly going to succeed, and nobody's going to be able to do anything about when it does succeed, officially, finally, once and for all. Upon there being no successful influence, therefore, of that nature, ones who are influential in that regard, having been imprisoned, are going to start dwindling, dying off, and they are going to find themselves embittered against the holy God for the mission that they've been given. Like, I have been given a job by God. It is clear. I'm running out of time. I gotta work out. I need to finish this message. The job that I was given is not the one that I asked for. I've been sending out my CV into certain spaces, and they've not looked at me, and God has kept me in a job I don't want. I made that analogy jokingly earlier about, being a nurse and applying to go and work everywhere else, including in a war zone, because you don't want to work in a senile old age home, in an old age home full of senile people, geriatrics that are rude, even though you're there to dress their wounds, clean out or drain out their catheters. You are there to make sure they take their medication, and they're still rude, they're still swearing at you. Yeah, I wanted the kids, but God gave me life support, still rude however, life support needing, catheter needing, meds 24 hours a day needing, chronic medication needing, crane and walking stick needing, senile people that are sick and are near death. They are basically terminal. They won't be here next year in the same old age home. I'm going to have to be perpetually surrounded by deaths, family members getting collected. Family members collecting their dead bodies, from the old age home, from the nursing home's mortuary, because they keep dying. I have to live in an environment of that nature. People at the end of their ropes, at the end of themselves, who have sinned and who are holding on for dear life to rubbish. Do you understand? And are rude to their nurse, to the one who keeps on clearing out their catheters every single hour. The way that their, bodily functions are so porous. Amanzi, you drink water and you pee same time. Does not go to the rest of the body to do what it needs to do. Food, you eat, poop same time. Catheter's always full like that. And I gotta go and clean out the mess of those people because it's the only job I've been given. And all I've been doing for years is praying and praying and begging God. At a war zone, I'd rather dress the wounds of an amputated soldier. Because at least there I can talk the gospel into his heart. If at all he is about to perish at the tiny age of 22, I can at least give him the gospel before he goes home from the battlefield. I can encourage soldiers. People who are soldiers and not civilians that are rude. People who are willing to grab the gospel. The other day I was lamenting, I was talking about how these randos that are busy with their insanity, on their deathbed, they're still rude. And I spoke about how it is that as Christians, you must be very careful about a person that calls you to talk to you when they're dying, when they've been given a terminal diagnosis, that had access to the gospel, knew that they wanted to repent and give their lives to Christ at some point, but wasted their healthy years until such time that they were given a terminal diagnosis, and now they want to bother you with explaining the Bible to them. Give them the gospel as best as you can and then leave and go back to the youth on campus that are still going to give the kingdom of heaven 20 years, 30, 40, 50 years. Because the laborers are plentiful. The harvest story is plentiful, but the laborers are few. I spoke about how it is that do not waste your time. That video, that I believe the name of it was, I don't think I deleted it. Where was it? Dream showing me the deathbed of a witch, still gaslighting her victim, yet hopes to make heaven. Yeah. In that particular video, I was speaking about this very same phenomena, where people who are literally at the end of themselves and they've reached there because God has judged them. Now only they want to talk to you. All along they knew what they were doing was wrong. And they wanted to get away with murder. Having their bread buttered on both sides, they continue to just, spread themselves thin in this world. And now that they're dying, they want to take you from your position where you're sitting and make you be personal prophet just to them. While there is literally a whole harvest out there that it needs to be filled with laborers. And you gotta go make disciples of all nations. Disciples of which are still gonna give 30 years, 40, 50 more years to the kingdom of heaven. So people that are really needed, that are gonna go in and of themselves and make more laborers, but you're focusing on a dead man or a dead woman that is about to enter into eternity, that has been obstinate all their lives, wasting all of your days, your vigor, your youth on them, while souls that can be harvested out there are still kind of, lost. However, willing to listen because they're pliable, they're malleable, because they are, meanderable. That's the word that I used earlier. Malleable, they can be used, baba softy, but they can be reached. That's what's good. They can still be reached. They haven't calloused themselves. They have not made themselves hard of hearing. They have not gone, blinded their eyes and, stiffened or put wax in their ears. But you're busy concentrating on a person on a deathbed that wants to take 10 hours of your day. Your heart burdened about the fact that they're leaving the body. They're leaving the earth. That's how I feel. I'm dealing with people who are on deathbeds. I don't care if they're 40. I don't care if they're 39, 35. I don't care if they are still in the pink of health and have very many years left. Bottom line is they're on deathbeds in the sense that they have sinned so egregiously against God. They have walked in so much calamitous affliction of the world around them that the Lord is going to judge them with cutting their silver cords. I'm dealing with dead men walking. They're like on death row. That's what God keeps showing me about my enemies. They're on death row. They're dead men and women walking. They've been such menaces. They've been so calloused that even though they're just 40, even though they're just 42, they will not live to see their 43rd birthday because they are that menacing. Do you understand? And I gotta dress the wounds of these people. I gotta go and keep on changing catheters of these patients. I gotta keep on talking to some geriatric or senile in an old age home that won't take his medication. And when I try to make him take it, John, he then tells me F off. I get sworn at. I get thrown buckets of hot water in the face off. I get oil put on the floor where I'm working so I might slip and fall. They keep sending me death spells, love spells, there's nothing that these people have not tried. And they keep on going back to the drawing board. They're on their deathbed, they're on death row. They are dying. Do you understand? Batlhokafala. They're dying. A lot of them are about to go into eternity. It's that basic. And I am tired. I'm exhausted. I don't want to have to deal with them. They're so obstinate and so rebellious that I just feel like, God, give me a new, what do you call this? Give me a new audience. Give me a new job. Like, goodness, I have no job satisfaction at this point. I'm dealing with dead men and dead women that are Gen Zs, not Gen Zs, sorry. They're millennials and they're Generation X's, Xennials, millennials, Generation X's, and older than that, our dads and moms, that age group, alongside their children. Yeah, like the age of my mom, and then us. I get horny. I'm done. I feel like done. I just want to slam the door shut. I want to get out. I don't want to work in this old age home. I don't want to work in this old age home. I really don't, because these like a lot of these people are not even old enough. Some of them are my age, 20. What is this? 38, 39, 40. Do you understand? That's not old. Not by the standards anyway of what old truly is for a person to be facing a deathbed. And yet they're almost as old as that, because they are dying. I can't say that enough. Their sins are reaching the heavens and they're about to get taken out of the earth because God just won't take them in his stride anymore. And they are rude. They're senile. They keep on slapping back at me. They throw food on my chest, on my uniform, such that I have to drive home and get a new change of clothes and come back again. When I try to feed them, they insist on throwing water in my face when I tell them to take their meds. Everything that I'm trying to do as a nurse in this old age home is the bane of my existence. I hate my job. Every day I eat alone in the change room, because I cannot even hang out with my own colleagues, because they've taken away from Christians. They've taken me away from fellow Christians. I'm working by myself to try and reach dead people that I have no hope for. I told you, the ground that I have been tilling is like sandy soil. It is like soil that is, saturated with water. It's not fertile. It's not solid soil, ground to work souls. I can do nothing. Guys, it's been over a decade that I've been saved, and almost 10 years that I've been in this position. Almost 10 years that I have been in this position, and these people, no one has come to Jesus, like not even one. In fact, they just keep on messing. In fact, they just keep on, what is the word that I'm looking for? If anything, they keep on trying to thwart my ministry. They keep on trying to stop it. Just this morning alone, I had a dream of me being in a casket in a warehouse that is abandoned, and then I just plunged out of that casket into the ground. In other words, they have frozen my life so badly that all that's left to happen now is for me to commit suicide. I'm working at a senile old age home with a bunch of disrespectful dying old folk that don't want Jesus, and I'm like, I asked to work at a battlefield with soldiers. Anywhere else, please. Anywhere else. In a hospital, be a doctor's assistant, helping with patients. As a nurse, I've asked God, over and over again, I've asked the heavenly physician, can I work somewhere else, please? Because I'm pretty sure that there is a place where my message will be embraced. Can I work somewhere else? Because I know that that's true, because there are all these YouTubers, there are all these Christians on YouTube able to reach any audience at all. Why have you made me work in an old age home with dying people that don't even want to live? What am I doing here? Can I please get another job? And then God, who knows that I am excellent at goodbye, and he knows that I know how to door slam, he knows that I can walk away from especially people who have made themselves strangers in my life. He kept me in this position. The Lord, knowing that I'm encircled by a bunch of rapists, men that want women, people that keep on trying, wanting to marry me off to men I don't want, all these things. God has kept me there. I'm like, but Father, I can't as a child be in the midst of pedophiles. I'm in danger. And he's like, yeah, but like I'm the one that protects you. I'm like, Father, I can't as a woman be in the midst of rapists because I'm in danger. Yeah, but I'm your father, I'm protecting you. Father, I can't in the midst of like a whole bunch of divorced entitled men that want a third and a fourth wife and think that they have found one in me, seeing as there is nobody out there looking out for me. I can't be in the midst of such men as these, because they will exploit the situation. And God was like, but I'm protecting you. Father, I cannot in the midst of a whole bunch of pimps that are scanning these streets for prostitutes, and they have no respect for the fact that a woman has no desire to be a prostitute. I cannot be paraded in front of them. And God was like, but like I'm protecting you, I will leave you in this position for as long as it takes. Because God, at the end of the day, is the one that cares for these people in a way that I just don't. I'm not even gonna lie. I go buamaka, guys. I'm not gonna lie and say, oh guys, please do better. Like, I already love you. I don't love you. I do not. I'm not gonna lie. Like, what's the point? The father, the devil, is the father of lies. And if I say that I love my enemies, I'd be lying. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm struggling with love. I'm like the church in Ephesus in the book of Revelation. You have lost your first love. You hate the works of the Nicolaitans. You hate those who call themselves Jews but are not. But I have this against you. You have forgotten your first love. Ang bafuni. I hate them. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I cannot stand them. I have no emotion for them. They have so broken and devastated me that they have calloused me from appropriately responding with my emotions, to a point where if I were to hear of any of them passing away, it would be like, I guess everybody dies. I feel nothing. They have been the bane of my existence for a minute. Yesterday I was lamenting and rapping on and complaining about how it is that I have been utterly thrown out of the black community as a black woman, that I will never recover with this level of abuse by black people. So all that's left to happen now is the rapture, I guess. Because who in the world lives after having been so destroyed and abandoned, neglected and ditched by her own people, where nobody else in the world is gonna embrace her because all her people didn't? Like, yeah, that's where I am at right now. I am being made to work with people I have no emotions for. I don't care about them. Guys, I would be lying if at all I try to be all sweet going on a Christian about it and said, the Lord said love your enemies. If you love those who are your friends, you do no special thing, but rather love your enemies. Turn the other cheek. Do not repay evil for evil, but with good, with good. Basically, heap coals of shame on their heads. Yeah, so this is me turning the other cheek and forgiving 70 times 7 times. I hate them. I literally cannot stand them. I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. That's exactly what David even himself said. Like, when you get so burned with attrition, when you get persecuted to a point of no return, sometimes you get to a point where you write a psalm of that nature, where you say, I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. Ang bafuni. All I want to do is slam the door shut on them, especially considering I'm aware of how terminal they are. They're dying, and for me, it's like good riddance. Good riddance, hambani. Because look at what you did to my little sister. Look at what you did to Gen Zs. You've made them little monsters. They are disrespectful. They have no regard for elderly people. They've been made classist. They have been made little twerkers on the internet. They have not seen it fit to pursue careers that God would have them work. They have abandoned their gifting at the door to go and work for the devil. They think Hollywood is a worthwhile pursuit. They have taken our proper Lotila law that went to America. It's like Suga. It's like literally her whole future has been destroyed, and she thinks it has been given her. She thinks she's been awarded opportunities, but her future's been destroyed. Ban Tatile, they went and grabbed the talented South African girl and made her gyrate in front of Babylonians. And that's apparently a job opportunity that was worthwhile to write home about. Look at what they did to Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah is a millennial. He's my age. Or an exennial, whatever you want to call him. Trevor Noah, when he left this country, was a political comedian. Just like what exactly he is in America right now. He was a comedian with a political satirical edge in his messages. But he was impartial. And he knew how to basically mock all the rubbish that's going on in the country against us coming from politics. He was easily able to mock the ANC. He was easily able to mock the IFP, the whatnot, everything happening in politics, all of the funny little weird things happening in the country. He was a comedian that we could relate to concerning the civil matters of the country. And then he moves to America, and they make him a leftist comedian journalist. They make him stand with Biden when he never would have stood for Biden if he was a South African version. They make him stand for leftist politics that don't make sense. They literally went and grabbed Trevor Noah and made him a puppet for the leftist agenda. And now he is speaking a lot of trash to a point where I stopped following him on The Daily Show. And even after leaving The Daily Show, whatever he's doing now, I don't follow him. I stopped following Trevor Noah. He was once upon a time one of my favorite comedians, if not my favorite comedian. But then after he left the country, he even forgot how to be impartial in political commentary as a comedian. That's what they do. So what they did with Trevor Noah, they're gonna do with Taylor or Tyler, whatever her name is. Give me water. They're just gonna make her another Beyonce. Gonna make her a Beyonce, and she would think that's a benefit, except no, she is like her soul is being massacred, and she will contribute to the mutiny of souls of so many other South Africans. It's like that's exactly what's going on, Lana. So Manje, when you're dealing with that, now I was like, Father, can I just go, please? Can we get taken? Can I go home in the rapture? Since you refuse to let me work on the Gen Zs, Nakona, I don't even know if I can reach them at this point. Because they're like young adults now. They're young adults now, these Gen Zs. Maybe some of them are still in high school, I don't know. But like, I don't know, like I just feel like get to kids when they're like 7, 8, 9, 10. I wanted the kids. I wanted the youth. I wanted kids in high school, primary schools. That's what I wanted, because I knew I could influence them at that level. But now look at them having grown up. Must I now wait for the Gen Alphas to get to how? I don't know, guys. Like the Gen Alphas have got the Gen Zs to look up to. Like it's just like it feels like this is messed up. It feels as if though these kids will have no other choice but to go to war. Like they have no other choice but to endure the tribulation. If not tribulation, wars in their countries. But it looks likely like it would be the tribulation that's going to save their souls. It looks like the tribulation is going to save their souls. Nothing but this tribulation can save their souls. It's like the rapture has to happen, the end of the world has to happen, and the apocalypse has to happen, Armageddon has to happen for Gen Zs to know the Lord. Because collectively, all of them as a horde, their evangelism is at stake. Their souls reaching is at stake, and it looks as if though the only thing that can shake them into sobriety is an event so prolific as the rapture. Something as shocking as the rapture, something that is global and that is catastrophic and that also displays that God is very unhappy with the world. That is the only thing that I feel can rescue at this point. I'm a Gen Z because millennials have messed them up. Generation X's have messed them up, and the same Generation X's and millennials, etc. When you try to talk to them, they will smother you, they will put you in a casket, they will burn you alive, they will bury you, and then continue to teach their kids rubbish. What am I supposed to do? I mean, the kids of my friends, the children of my friends are Generation Alphas. Do you understand? What the heck is my best friend teaching her sons and maybe daughter, if she's ever since then had a girl? What in the world is my cousin teaching her? One daughter is a teenager, the other one is in primary school. Oh my god. Yes, like she's a whole devil worshipper. What is she teaching? Like, I don't. What in the world is my cousin teaching her kids? Like, that woman is a whole seance master. She's a ventricular. She's a circus act for the occult. What is she teaching her kids? Like, it's over for them. Don't you see? The only way out for Gen Alpha and Gen Z is the rapture that's going to leave them behind on an earth that God is judging. And they will then make a decision to not listen to the word of their parents. They will realize that our parents were messed up. Alexandria or Ocasio-Cortez was crazy. She was a fool because we have been left behind. We're chilling in this tribulation. We are being lambasted by plagues from the sky because the God of the Christians took them, while my mom was busy telling me that Christianity is outdated, and that, you know, it cannot possibly fit in 2023. When my mom was taking me to a church where a gay pastor was officiating over us. My mother is the one that took me to a pride event when at the age of 7 I told her I have gender dysphoria only because I saw it on TikTok. And then next June, I went to a pride event and I paraded with my mom and my dad because they wanted to be inclusive. And now a rapture has happened, and what's God gonna do with a gay kid in heaven? So I'm sorry, no, mom, dad, like, get the step in. Like, I'm here with you. You called yourself Christians, and yet I'm here with you. I've been left behind. Whole bunch of people claiming that even God rapture, children are gonna get taken. What is God gonna do with a transgender child in heaven? They're not going. So these kids are gonna wake up and realize that, like, whoa, we've been left. Like, what? I even gave this prophecy before, that there's going to be a whole army of children that are going to rebel against adults after the rapture has happened because they will realize that they were lied to. And these kids are going to become dangerous in the tribulation, murderous, almost like cannibals. And they will be kept alive until the second coming of Jesus Christ, and only at the second coming will they then give their lives to God. They will down their tools. Their little purge for 7 years will end because Christ will prove that he's God, having given them the mercy that he gave them precisely because they were deceived by their parents. I already spoke about this. There's lots of work I've done. I've shared these prophecies. The only thing at this point it appears that is going to rescue Labantwana is the tribulation. So since millennials and Gen X's and Xennials are doing everything in their power to keep me buried in a hole, it's okay. Let the Lord take me home. Let me go home. Let me go home, let the tribulation happen, and let your children come to Christ at the second coming, and let the rest of y'all burn. Sulfur, brimstone, let it fall, let it burn. Let the water be turned to blood. A third of the seas turned to blood, burnt up. A third of the trees and the green grass burnt up. Let all that happen. Let the loathsome sores appear on your face because you've taken the mark of the beast, and let the Lord take the children at the end of the tribulation. The kids that you set up for failure. The kids that you raised in a household full of warlocks and witches. And you were proliferating that agenda. I was watching DC's Legends of Tomorrow. I have stopped because it is too damn evil. It is too evil. I could take the Flash in my stride, but good DC's Legends, yes, like it is so antichrist, it's not even funny. It's so antichrist, it's not even funny. It's the whole gay, lesbian thing going on first and foremost, and then there is the glorification of witchcraft. It's not science fiction, that's just the occult that I'm looking at DC's Legends of Tomorrow, so I stopped watching it. Yeah. You gotta like walk on tippy toes, eggshells on Netflix because things go awry real fast. They go awry real fast on you. And that's what these kids are being influenced by. Every second, third show that is being produced by countries across the world that's landing on Netflix has some occult magic in it. Like what? Your kids are being taught by 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 30-year-olds that it's okay to be a devil worshipper. So it is no wonder all of these kids are so darkened on TikTok. I tried to get to them, I couldn't. And at this point I feel as if though I might get to one or two, but I can't get to all of them. They are too badly influenced by bad leftist politics across the planet, first and foremost, that is being proliferated also by celebrities, and they're also getting taken over by Islam. It's like it's such a mess that there's no turning back. It appears war is the only way out of this. But I don't know what's going to happen first. I don't know whether America is going to get destroyed and then the rapture, or if the rapture is going to happen and then America is going to get destroyed, then Israel is going to have nobody to support her, and then she's going to find herself in Gog and Magog, and Islam will not prosper to proliferate itself as a religion in the millennial reign, because that is not what the Bible says. It's going to be a one world religion that is embraced by everybody. So I do believe that Islam's attempt at world takeover is what's going to cause so much war in the Middle East and so much war across the world that it is going to therefore cause war fatigue in the planet, such that a man is going to rise up that is going to foster peace across all nations, and Islam will have to just like sit down. It's gonna have to sit down because the Antichrist is going to basically get rid of Islam. The Antichrist is going to be the one that gets rid of Islam, and God Almighty is the one that's going to get rid of world religions except for himself. Yeah. So, but the purpose of Islam is to get the world to a point where the Antichrist is now necessarily needed in order to foster peace in the Middle East. And then you will find him. So as to what happens first, I don't know. Egg before the chicken, chicken before the egg. We don't know. Asazi, at this particular point, you guys, and given that we do not know, we're not going to speculate further. But what we do know for a fact is that your children have been derealized from what makes sense to a point of what it also appears to be irrecoverably. Ingati, there's no going back. There's no turning back. I don't know if it's possible to reach my sister, my little sister, for sense at this point. What of me? Somebody please come and tell me that. What of me is worthy of emulating exactly when men are lovers of themselves and lovers of money, when I have no money and it appears I'm unloved? People who adore themselves so much that they're narcissistic and want everybody to love them, and ovulating around nothing but money. The way that's all the babies they're making in the world. All that they produce from their womb is money. That's what they give birth to. That's what is their progeny. That's what they take care of like a child. Imali. When I don't have it and when I'm not loved, what under heaven will a society that is in perilous times like the one written off in 2 Timothy 3 gonna do looking at me as a role model? I am not worthy of being emulated. The only thing that can ever make out of me a role model is if the person that is in a position to convert me into a worthwhile role model to be takes me to heaven, and so therefore makes people realize that your acquisitions in this world ought end you up in heaven and not here on earth just getting more and more and more. Gather for yourself treasures in heaven where moth and rust do not destroy and thieves don't come in and steal. That's what Karabo did, and now she's living in, I don't know, heaven. Go and like beat that. Literally beat that. Beat heaven. Like all these millennials, no millennials, Gen Zs trying to live on mansions on earth. Beat a mansion in heaven. That's what's good. That's the only thing that will ever cause the Gen Z population to look at me as a worthwhile example to emulate. In other words, a suffering servant. In other words, a woman that has absolutely nothing and yet she has everything. Only vindication can come from a rapture, from being taken up. And so these kids realizing that what I worked for was eternal, and what who they were made to rather look at, what they were working for was like grass, chaff. It gets burnt by the fire. The glory of the pastures that are here today, now tomorrow gone. That's what's good. Only thing that can ever vindicate me is the rapture. In the eyes of Gen Zs, the very audience I was gunning for, they will only ever look at me if I get raptured. Cause guess who's living in a mansion now? Otherwise, as for the rest of these geriatrics that I'm chilling with in an old age home, this, I believe, is pretty much your olive branch to repent, since you're all terminal and everything, choking it up a storm, hanging out with jaundice in a wheelchair, like proper, pooping and peeing into a catheter. That's who you is, millennial. That's who you are, Gen X. Yeah, Nyabora, you're dying, you're terminal, you're influencing children in universities to stay dead and dumb. But you've been given the olive branch of the gospel through a servant that doesn't even like you. I don't like you. I am working in a job where it is that I can't stand it, okay? I have no job satisfaction. I want to move. I've been trying to get a transfer. I've been doing everything in my power to get another job with little success. And God knows my frustration. And one of these days, He's going to give me the job I want. And maybe it's in heaven. As the capital, watching the Hunger Games down here in these streets. We're leaving in the tribulation. We're leaving in the rapture, so you can endure the tribulation, and I will then be an elevated member of the capital looking at all of you suffering tributes in the Hunger Games. I might even send you a little Simba chippy as you're down here in these streets suffering from sorrow and hunger and devastation. It is written of your famine that you will drink your water with carefulness and eat your bread with astonishment. All the best with that. I'm signing out in Christ's name, Cran K. Bye.